Terrorism Act, the AETA of 2006, which specifically targets anyone who intentionally damages or causes the loss of any real or personal property, including animals or records, used by animal enterprise, or any real or personal property of a person or entity having connection to, relationship with, or transactions with an animal enterprise. Close quote. A pretty broad brush they're painting with there. But every time I read an excerpt from the AETA, I can't help but juxtapose it with another quote, something else I learned during my 12 years in Catholic school. This one is from the book of John, chapter 2, verses 13 to 16, which reads as follows. In the temple courts, Jesus found men selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove all from the temple, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold doves, he said, "Get out of here." So the next time someone poses that question to you, what would Jesus do? Thanks to the AETA, you can confidently answer 12 to 18 months. Our way of life means nuclear testing and the racist death penalty, veal crates and vivisection, gay bashing and police brutality, factory farming and landmines, napalm and the war on drugs. It means GMO, HMO, Guantanamo. It means 80% of the world's forests are already gone. 90% of the large fish in the ocean are already gone. Our way of life, our beloved way of life, is built on a nearly exterminated indigenous population, on an African slave trade, and on all those killed in places like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Southeast Asia, Central America, the Middle East, and so on. It was built on stolen land using stolen oil. Our way of life was built on terror. It is maintained by terror. The terror of cops, the terror of prisons, the terror of the military, and the psychological terror of propaganda. The first step to ending terrorism is the same as it ever was. Stop practicing it yourself. Because the precarious state of things is not some unstoppable force of nature, nor some preordained theology. We're in the mess we're in because of human decisions. If different decisions have been made in the past, different outcomes would have occurred. If different decisions are made now, let's hope different outcomes could occur. It's not as if we don't have choices. Ask yourself this: what would you rather have, a consumer culture or an ozone layer? Ancient forests or interstate highways? Cell phones or eastern lowland gorillas? Would we be willing to give up the ability to text TTYL to our BFF if it meant we might be able to save an entire species from going extinct? Because the human beings and all living things that come after us won't be impressed if we held meetings like this, or we drove a hybrid, or we switched to recycled toilet paper, or we ate organic. And I can guarantee you this: they won't give two shits whether you voted for McCain or Obama in 2008 if they, in the future, are stuck on a toxic, uninhabitable planet. They'd probably just want to ask us this: why did you stand by and allow everything to be either consumed or poisoned or destroyed? Why didn't you defend our collective soul? Now, the first step, perhaps, in defending this collective soul would be to take a long look into your heart and an even longer look at your choices. As I said, not from a position of guilt, but from a position of revelation. And ask yourself this: am I living in accord with my values? Because it's one thing to have goals like climb the highest mountain, run the fastest marathon, lift the heaviest bench press, or make your first million before you're 30. But what greater goal could any human being have than this: to leave the planet much better off than how they found it? And to do that, we must ask not what our ecosystem could do for us, but ask what we can do for our ecosystem. And a good first step at meetings and gatherings like this is to not leave here today till you've made contact with someone you don't know and find out what you can do together to create some change. Now, as I said before, I get the whole gloom and doom thing, the whole bumming me out thing, so I'm going to end up by telling you something really good. Is anybody ready to hear something good? Okay. Well, here's the good news. We live in the greatest time ever to be an activist. Never before has activism been more important. Never before have the stakes been higher. Never before have we been in better position to reshape the future history of the human race and the planet itself. We are on the brink of economic, social, and environmental collapse. What a time to be alive. How lucky are we? And maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's not coincidence that we're the generation that's been chosen to handle the greatest mission in the history of the planet: survival. So the next time you're agonizing over whether you want to watch a Will and Grace rerun or update your Facebook page, maybe you want to step up instead. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for those who came before us who lost their lives in the process. People like Brad Will, Ken Sarawiwa, Rachel Corey, Fred Hampton, Harvey Milk, and more. Or do it for the future. I'm willing to bet that everyone in this room has at least one child, infant, toddler, grade school, or high school, that they care deeply about, and they care what kind of world they're going to live in. Is that a safe bet that everyone has that? We'll do it for them. It's as simple as that. Now, Howard Zinn, the great Howard Zinn, who we lost 2 months ago, once said, "To live now as we think human beings should live in defiance of all that is bad around us is in itself a marvelous victory." So it's time we start believing that we can achieve victory, to believe that we can deliver the finger jab to the eyes of the murderers of the military-industrial complex. We can deliver a kick to the groin of the rapists and looters on Wall Street, and we can deliver a knee strike to the faces of reactionary forces all across the globe. We can win, even if we simply define winning as creating a softer place to land. But no matter what, it can't and it never will be easy. Now, since this is a self-defense oriented talk, I'm going to end with a quote from the renowned pugilistic philosopher, a man by the name of Rocky Balboa. Rocky once said, "Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It can be a mean and cruel place, and it'll beat you to your knees and keep you there if you let it. Because you, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. So if you know what you're worth, go out and get what you're worth, but you got to be willing to take the hit." And one more thing, no matter what bullshit you hear coming out of Washington, the truth remains, action is always better than hope. Thank you.